Hello and welcome back. Welcome back to Skurlock Farm, where things would seem like they're repeating themselves. Well, except that we hopped on this haystack. That didn't happen last episode. But last episode we were here and we had to go to Nirui. Well, guess what, guys? We're here again and we have to go to Nirui once again for various reasons. Well, let's say a couple. And that's fine. We can handle some repetition as long as there is more story and more experience to be gained in the process. So here we are. I shall meet you over there, way over there. Okay, so we need to be looking for scraps of orders to the goblins. Yes? Look at this, so conspicuous. Right here in the open, shining brilliantly against the morning sun. Or is it morning? Yeah, it's noontime already. Regardless, it is to be hoped these scraps of parchment may contain some clue to the purpose of the orcs that now roam freely throughout old Cardolan. Hope is a great thing, isn't it? Until it fails you. Okay, let's see. Here we go. More scraps of parchment. And the goblins don't even bother to do anything about it. Because they know this will be too much work for us to figure out what's happening. And even when we figure out what is happening, we know what it will be. Basically, they have plans to do bad stuff, and we need to thwart it. Do we really need to know the specifics? We're already doing what we're doing. Didn't their numbers prevent them from doing stuff? Right? I'm just jesting. If only half jesting. Okay, well, I think we're done now, no? Yes. Now we have to go back to Skurlock Farm and apparently set the scraps of the orders on the table. Apparently Skurlock Farm has only one table, the entire farm. And we'll have to find that table and arrange those scraps. Wow, it's always so dark in here. It's crazy. Alright. Hello there, defender. Hey, hello there, half orc. What are you doing? What are you doing? What do you think you're doing? Boom. Easy. Okay, I should meet you back at the farm, guys. By the way, this old mill here is pretty cool, isn't it? Look at that. Can we actually go inside? Is there any way? How does one want to go in circles around a windmill? Cannot find a way in. Oh no. Useless old windmill. Ha. Hopefully they have a new one somewhere. Here we are back at Skurlock Farm. Ooh, there's a table. Guess what? This table will serve as a suitable place to sort your findings. Okay. Sorting papers now. There. Oh. We have retrieved parchments containing the grand designs of many different interests in Cardolan. How do we know they're all grand designs, huh? And must now sort through them if you're to make sense of their intricate web. Oh, really? Okay, now we're sorting papers. Not quite right, yeah. As usual, I'm toiling here, nobody's helping. See? Ranger on this side, ranger on that side, nothing. Getting there, yeah. Only thanks to my own effort. See, the chicken is more willing to help than the rangers. I tell you, this might be it. You have done your best to untangle the many different designs of the various powers at work in Cardoon. Considering. Let that be a lesson to you goblins then. The big ones have ways of dealing with treachery, and if you work against their goals, what happened to the last batch can happen to you and yours as well. You'll be taught what you need to know when you have need of it, and not before. The Dark Lord, will repay us for our service. Why else would the very wisest throw their lot in with him, even as we have done? Wow. So that's a very significant sentence, so I'll read it once more. The Dark Lord will repay us for our services. Why else would the very wisest throw their lot in with him, even as we have done? Right? Like, even if the wisest trust the Dark Lord now. Saruman, huh? Are you one of the wisest anymore? The dwarves will be easily manipulated. They will follow Skorgrim wherever he leads them. The usual Skorgrim stuff. No matter who leads Skorgrim. I trust the Gauntlord can do this, and that should be enough for you lot. The attack will come from both directions, down from the Blue Mountains, and up the Greenway from across the Old Barrows. Even now the Witch King works to raise the spirits of the dead. With the aid of the Grey Fear, none will stand against him, or against us. It was the fear that laid waste to the old kingdom that once stood here, and see what little of that remains. Well, it's not as little as you think, actually. The shadow rises in Angmar, but it needs time to gather its strength. Not much time, but time all the same. That's where we're for, my gang and you lot. Just don't get in the way of the riders or the Grey Fear. No one would save you then, and you wouldn't want them to. You would just yearn for death. What the fear would do to you doesn't bear thinking about. Who is this Grey Fear guy? He is very significant. So you stay out of their way. These are the Dark Lord's most valued servants. Says who? You and me are just worms to such as them, and worms can get squashed if they haven't got brains enough to get clear. Yep. We'll be called on when we're needed. Okay? So the riders, okay, we know about them, but who is the Grey Fear? Wow, that was quite interesting actually. Pretty well done. Okay, let's talk to Manildir now.
I don't like the sound of that. Any of that.
Ambassador, not only do servants of the White Hand move openly in Swampfleet, but in Cardolan and beyond, there are other powers at work. The Witch King and the Black Riders, goblins and half-orcs making common cause, and now a dwarf rebellion led by someone named Skorgrim. Yep, I've heard of him already. Judging from his name, he's no Longbeard. No, he's a Dourhand. But if he leads an army out of the Blue Mountains, we'll be hard-pressed to deal with him, no matter who he might be. But there's something else too. These orders speak of something called the Grey Fear. That is a familiar title, really, but I cannot remember why, and that worries me. Oh, okay then. Hard-plated armor. Not a bad one, but worse than ours. Well-preserved leather jacket. And ancient silk robes.
This has given us a lot to think about. But what is the Grey Fear?
But I'm most concerned about these mentions of something called the Grey Fear. Same here, I'm most concerned about this one, because it's the greater unknown. Is it a person, a spirit, or something else? Whatever it may have been, if it is responsible in some way for the fall of Cardolan or the breaking of Arnor, we need to prevent it from working a similar evil against us today. What does Malenfang have to say about this? By the way, yeah, nobody else needs to talk to us right now. Until we finish that, fine. The breaking of Arnor.
What has Malenfang to say about this?
Well, Malenfang, anything?
The Grey Fear? No, I've never heard of anything by that name.
Really? You have not? What your friend here has? Interesting. Is it possible it might be a disease? Or an ailment of some kind? Could be, but sounded like more concentrated than that. I seem to remember there was a scholar among the Dunedain who dwelled among the ruins of old Cardolan, though his name escapes me. Henderot may know of his whereabouts. He was encamped outside Karanost, was he not? Perhaps you should return and ask him. Okay.
I seem to remember there was a scholar who dwelt among the ruins of old Cardolan.
Alright. Sounds like a plan. Sounds like a plan.
Welcome, friend.
Welcome! Alright, so let us see. First, we'll talk to Arnile about the Curse of the Barrels, and that's close by, so we can write together. Quite the story here forming up. Yeah. Again, they have done a really good job with the starting areas of Cardolan and Swanfleet. Swanfleet and Cardolan. Yeah, the main story is good here.
Did it work? Is it done?
That is, I'm sure I'll feel better soon. Wait, did you hear that? He gulps and looks around. I need to get out of here. Thank you for your help. I learned my lesson for sure. Please, deal with your trauma. Please. Yes. But yes, we dealt with them, and you no immediate danger here, so go where you feel comfortable. As for the rest of us, we will go to Sirlond once more. At Sirlond now, let's talk to Handerot. And we really hope that he'll be useful this time.
Yes.
These supplies are from Herendir? They're welcome, but with reservation. My wife's brother is always doing this. Servalon, I think you should do this, he says, and Servalon, why did you not think of this? If I had known the ways of her brother when I fell in love with my Madril, but no, it would not change nothing. She has all of my love, and always will. Then what's the gripe? It was her idea to send him scouting for goblins when the three of us came south, and it was very wise. Trust Herondin to annoy me, even from afar. But the supplies are welcome. He's right on this point. Our provisions are beginning to run out. Servalon sighs. And that is the worst annoyance of all, is it not? That my wife's brother was right once again. For 700 years he has been right. Are you married, Basabor? If you're not, heed well my advice. Discover if your intended spouse has any siblings, and do so in advance. Very funny. Okay, now that was that. But now let's continue with the epic story. Let's talk to Handerot.
Someone or something called the Grey Fear, you say?
I have not heard of such a one being involved with the ruination of the Old Kingdom, but I am no scholar. You should speak with Narndir, if you can find him. He always possesses a keen interest in the history of Cardolan, and was always to be seen writing in one of his many journals. Something in your expression brings Handerot to a halt, and he stares at you questioningly. Reluctantly, you tell him that Narndir was slain by Black Riders during the flight from Sandford, and that you and Meneldir discovered his body just off the road northwest of Herne. I am very sorry to hear that, but especially so for Meneldir. I know they were close. Narndir never had a bad word to say about Meneldir, even after he left us. It was not so for many others. Handerot idly drums his fingers upon the hilt of his sword. Perhaps Narndir can still help us, Bassador. I told you of the journals he kept. Well, I know at least one place where he hid some of them. To the east, beneath one of the towers of Karanost, there was a hollow place. Search there and see if Nardin recorded anything of this grave fear in the years before he perished. Makes sense.
Perhaps Nandir can still help us.
Okay then. Alright, so we have to find some hiding spots. Only they're very close, so let's explore here. So we've been to this tower. Okay. But they're not here, so they must be under somewhere. So we need to break her legs a little bit. That's good. Well, let's see. Maybe under here somewhere? Yes. This place matches the description given to you by Handerot. This old cache, buried partially in the dirt and covered with bramble, has not been unearthed for many months. Okay, let's search it with my boar taking the lead here. Inside a small coffer, you find a leather-bound journal wrapped in a cord. Now let's read this. You should bring the journal to the location it describes, the throne room in Karanost. What secrets might Nandir's journal contain for the curious mind? So we cannot actually read it? Okay. Oh, I have to read it at a particular location. Very interesting. Are we talking about incantations here or what? Some old superstitions? Okay. So, let's see. We need to be at the top of Karanos, I guess, to read that journal. In the throne room of Karanos, yeah. Located at the highest point of the ruined capital of Cardolan. Yes. Okay, I'll see you over there. The birds are chirping, the orcs are crawling. Yes. This appears to be the location about which Nandin wrote.
This is the throne room of Karanost. What does Nandir have to say about it?
Vasselbor. Okay. Let's read it. The writing is so evocative, you can almost imagine King Tarandor II is here. Is there. Okay. So that's considering the image of King Tarandor II.
You will think I have taken leave of my senses.
Nandin writes, but after so much study, I feel as if I have come to know these figures of the ancient past. When they suffer, I suffer. When they mourn, I mourn. And when they triumph, oh, no one can understand the joy I feel at their triumphs, few though they might have been in those dark years. I feel as if I know them. Amlite the Builder, once Prince of Cardolan, and then later Prince of the Arthedain at Fornost. Eldamasil, Prince of Rudolf, Kinslayer and Accursed. And Prince Tarandor, with whom I feel a close bond. The third and youngest son of King Erendur of Arnor was doubted not only by his brothers, but also by his own people. Those who lived in Cardolan during his rule as prince called him Tarandor, the afterthought, but it was an epithet he would overmaster. When corrupt nobles promised plunder to the hillfolk tribes in the south if they rose up against the prince, he rode forth and vanquished the invaders. Tales of his valor grew, and Tarandor the afterthought became Tarandor the forthright, beloved by his people, for his cruelty committed towards the hillfolk tribes that were just naive. So it was that when Erendur, king of Arnor and father to these three princes, died of an illness without naming a successor, there was more than one claimant to the throne. There might have been blood spilled then, as there will be later, but Amlite suggested a compromise. Let the kingdom of Arnor be divided, he said to his brothers, with each of us to rule a province in friendship and alliance with each other. Tarandor then became not a prince, but a king, and he was known as King Tarandor II, for there had already been a Tarandor in the line. As the king of Cardolan, he ordered a throne built and a crown forged at Karanost, and the fortress became the capital and the new ruling seat of the young kingdom. And even now, as I write these words, I feel tears welling in the corner of my eye, for I see the seed of treachery and death growing in the very foundation, and know what next must transpire. You should bring the journal to the location it describes, at Amon Fern. Yes, so that's the next place.
Nandir writes of a clear path up the northern face of Amon Fir, the Dead Mount?
There is Amon Fern, Bassador, a dangerous place far to the east. Okay, where is this? Oh, sorry guys. Where is that dangerous place? Over there, Amon Fern. Alright, so from Skrullock Farm to there, we should ride together. I'll see you at Skrullock Farm very soon. Alright, here we are at the edge of Skrullock Farm, and let's ride towards this peak to the east. Very interesting. Again, well done, intriguing, and rich in lore. Let's see what they do with it. This is shaping up to be a relatively long unwinding of the story about the Grey Fear, I'm sure. Let's see, how should we approach this mountain? I see a kind of a less steep terrain following this thusly, so I'll try to climb the peak this way. We shall see. Nice little grove here in the foothills. Really nice. Except for all the half-orcs, of course. Half-orc bandits, to be precise. Okay, let's try our assessment here, or pre-assessment. Yeah, I think that might work or might not. Well, almost there. Yes, I think we did it. Great. Okay, well then. Quite a view from here. More ruins. And, well, Swan Fleet. Pretty cool. Okay, so... You are Dead Mount Warriors, okay? And this is Amon Fern. I guess we should read about it, if there's anything to be read about it. Wait, we are where? Here. Inhabitants... It's not about inhabitants, obviously. Amon Fern, okay. The slaughter of the Battle of Amon Fern was so intense that the hill became known as the Dead Mount. A great cairn was erected in memory of the slain. Here it was that the last Dunadan king of Cardolan, Artandil, slew and was slain by King Malgun I of Rudol. Red flowers have bloomed here ever after. Yes, indeed. Plenty of them here. I see. Okay. Well, it's interesting how they're fighting each other here too. Dead Mount Bruiser and a Dead Mount Shade. Who would win? We shall learn in the next episode. No, not really. Okay. So now... Alright, Dead Mount Shade. So here with you. So we have to be near the top of Amon Fern. Oops. There can be a problem. Let's see. Is that a good spot here? No? We have to be even higher, maybe? Perhaps? What is that here? Oh, just a corpse. Okay, guys, let's figure that out. Isn't that a good spot here? Maybe over here? This appears to be the location about which Nandin wrote. Okay, but let's deal with this guy first. Just in case. Okay. Let's read it here. The writing is so evocative, you can almost hear the sound of the battle. Let's see, so we have Meneldir, sure, but otherwise we have Lord Amondir and King Artandil all fighting each other to death. I see.
Arthedain, Cardolan and Rudar were enmeshed in bloody fighting for near all the years of their existence.
Writes Nardir. But few battles had such a cost as the Battle of the Dead Mount. 400 years after hated Eldamasil slew his brother Tarandor, another king of Rudor marched deep into the kingdom of Cardolan. King Malgun it was who broke the gates of Karanost at the head of an army of hillfolk. Much of the royal family was slain on that day, but Malgun was unable to find King Artandil. Sensing his strength was near to overreach, the king of Rudor and his armies fled across the South Downs. Maddened by his grief, King Artandil pursued them, and at last the soldiers of Cardolan caught up to the fleeing Rudaurin at a hill among the barrows. It is said they fought so fiercely that blood ran down the sides of the hill in great rivulets, and bodies filled the gullies at its feet. And when the fighting was done, both Artandil and Malgun were dead, each having dealt the death blow to each other. The hill is known today as the Dead Mount. Red flowers bloom there ever after, and do to this day. I picked one of these flowers on an overcast afternoon, when the sky was grey, and it seemed rain must soon fall, but it never did. I enclose the flower within my journal. It will be a reminder to me that there can be beauty even in sadness. A faded red blossom is stuck between the two leaves of Nardin's journal, and it crinkles as you turn the pages. Great, very good writing here.
After King Artandil fell at the Dead Mount, it was
Nandin.
Amondir who rallied what remained of the host.
Nandin writes, It was Amondir, the lord of Thorn Gortat and keeper of the barrows, who rallied what remained of the Carduladrim host. Crying the king's name as he charged, Amondir rode down the fleeing men of Rudor. The son of Malgun was captured and later ransomed, and a costly peace between the kingdoms was purchased. The crown of Cardolan was offered to Amondir then, but he refused it. He would not name himself king, and instead he took the title of prince. He would rule from Do Ernil, his own keep in Tirn Gortat. The primacy of Cardolan waned, and Elendil's line now only held true in Arthedain. Amondir rode to Fornos to offer his fealty, and with the reunification of Arthedain and Cardolan beneath Argelep, the newly crowned king of Arnor, there was once again hope for the line of Elendil and the troubled kingdoms of Dunedain. But it would not last, for there was a power behind Rudor's evil, and it walked in secret. You should bring the journal to the location it describes, the southeastern corner of Thurn Gortat.
Nandir writes of a place in the southeastern reaches of Tirn Gorthard.
It seems we must return to the Greenway, Basilbur. From there we can climb up to Thurn Gortat, but it has been a forsaken place for hundreds of years. Forsaken or not, that's where we're headed next time, friends. I shall see you soon for more adventures. Bye-bye.